Welcome, everybody, to Scott County High School. You know, Sunday is Groundhog Day, but it feels like Groundhog Day to me, Derek Varney, as we are back here 5 days after the Toyota Classic Championship between Frederick Douglass and Scott County. And lo and behold, Scott County is playing once again, drum roll, Frederick Douglass. This time in a much more significant game because it is a 42nd district matchup of two teams that both have 2 losses in the district. Pivotal right now, Derek, Scott County could finish anywhere from first place in the district to last, depending on how the next couple of weeks go.
Well, Cal, their back's against the wall. It really is. I mean, it is. I know we've had the old cliche all year long, you know, put up or shut up. You know, they're really going to have to do it right now. And if you say it's Groundhog Day, I sure hope it's not the same result as we got in here Saturday afternoon, because Frederick Douglass was very, very impressive. And that's not to say that Scott County was unimpressive. It's just that's how much better Douglass was on Saturday. And so, you know, after talking to Coach Glenn, you know, this game tonight, and then you sleep tonight, go to school tomorrow, and you come right back at her tomorrow night, and you have Bryan Station. So this 42nd district thing is up and running and going strong.
You know, these two teams have played twice now, and very similar results both times. At Lexington, at Frederick Douglass 2 weeks ago, 73-61 victory for the Broncos, and then 90-81 in a game that wasn't that close on Saturday. It was a 48-22 lead in the first half. Scott County kind of dug out of that hole gradually, kind of got to a 10-point ceiling in the third quarter and just couldn't knock it down from there. And then you talk about Bryan Station tomorrow night. We'll be here again on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. That was a 1-point game 2 days before Christmas. A lot of weird circumstances for that one. The refs didn't show up, so it started an hour late. And the Cards got off to a dreadfully slow start. They had to dig their way out and win that one. So that's not a gimme either. Bryan Station has defeated this Douglass team. If that tells you anything, Sayre is no slam dunk this year, certainly to play. They've played everyone tough. And then they've got to play Henry Clay again, does Scott County, on the road. So the work is cut out for them here as they jockey for position in a district tournament that they will host.
Which that is a huge plus. It's a huge plus for Scott County. We've got to get everybody in here to get support behind these guys. And because you got to look up first game over the last couple years, well, I say couple years, way more than that. We've been fortunate enough to come in as a 1 seed and maybe get Sayre in that first game and walk on into the championship, and where you're guaranteed an appearance in a regional tournament. So that's not the case this year at all.
Yeah, the last thing you want is a play-in game. At least that play-in game would be on their home court, I guess. But a lot at stake there. We saw how much home court can matter last year when Henry Clay eked out a win in the district championship. Of course, Scott County avenged that in the 11th region final. Kind of recap what else has gone on this week. Great Crossing boys got themselves a big win at Western Hills, so they're the 41st District boys regular season champions. That clinches them the top seed. That's important going forward. The girls got themselves a victory to kind of solidify that number 2 spot at Western Hills. Tougher than expected. Won that one by 9, 64-55. Scott County girls have clinched their regular season championship, 4th straight year, 31 consecutive victories in that pod. I think most of those games have been running clock. Certainly last night at Frederick Douglass, that game was over in an hour. I told Coach Steve Helton the quickest non-summer game I have ever seen.
That would have made my wife extremely happy right there, buddy, if I come walking back after an hour. No, congratulations to them. I mean, the run that Coach Helton is on is incredible, and the girls are very fun to watch, and I think the sky's the limit going into the district tournament and the region for them. Congratulations to Great Crossing girls.
A lot of attention statewide is on this. Of course, as you know, the WKYT Player of the Week was Morgan DeFore. She's averaged 35 a game over her past 4, so she is on a mission, to say the least, taking it personally, as she said, against Great Crossing, and I think that has carried over into some of the other games as well. So a lot to look forward to as we head down the stretch here into the month of February. Teams are getting toward the bench as they await their final instructions. Douglass gathering in a huddle as they get fired up for what they hope will be a clean sweep of 3 games on the regular season against Scott County. Scott County just needs a win. As you and I talked off the air, they're getting closer. Coach Glenn feels like they're right there. But looking at it as laymen, I mean, they've given up a lot of points here these last couple of games, and they've got to find a way not to do that tonight.
They really haven't. I think if they just cut everything kind of in half, I know I say that a lot about a score, but even the guys like Deshaun Jackson comes in here on Saturday and he gets 30 points. You know, the best players for these teams are getting above their average. Hold those guys, let somebody else beat you, and I think we're going to, you know, have a great chance for a victory.
We were getting ready for the national anthem. We'll be back with the starting lineups and get ready for 42nd District basketball. Student section / football team providing us with some of the lyrics to the end of the national anthem, the instrumental piped in version otherwise, and we are set to go.
It's great to see them down there. It really is. I mean, they're packed underneath the goal. They're not even a stand. So what it's going to be is the referees half the night saying, move back, move back.
I think they understand this is a big game, and you're right, it is good to see because we've been in here some nights where there's no student section, there's not a lot of fan support for some of these midweek games especially. This is a big one. Frederick Douglass comes in 15-7 overall, 2-2 in the 42nd District. Scott County with a very uncharacteristic record of 9-12. So no matter what happens these next two nights, they're still going to be on the sub-500 side. But they are 1-2 in the district, and with a couple of wins can put themselves in pretty good position here as they go forward. Know that they'll be out of that play-in game if they do that, and then can worry going forward to go to Henry Clay and maybe get into a coin flip for the top seed in the district. But a lot has to happen before we get there, Doug.
I would venture out to say all the stuff you just said about Scott County, probably the first time you've had to say that. Sub 500 record.
I mean, I've been in here, we count losses on one hand, obviously, for both teams, at least the last 2 or 3 years. The girls have gone on a win streak of late, but really everybody else kind of hovering around that 500 mark in the county, and it's just different. And it's a perfect storm. It has nothing to do explicitly with the addition of a second high school. A lot of it's just because we had two programs that graduated a lot of talent, especially on the boys' side, and now you're making two from basically what was a JV roster last year. They've done well if you consider all of that.
Oh, I know it, and it just just to hear that coming out of your mouth, that Scott County's 9-12, and their record in the district is a losing record. It's just something that's hard to wrap my mind around due to all the success here that they've had. But hey, here we are again, and we're in a situation where they can still be very successful, finishing up this season and then going into the district tournament.
That's the great thing about Kentucky high school basketball. It's basically an open tournament. No matter what you do, if you go 0-30, you're going to have a chance to get to your region tournament and then proceed from there. But yeah, you're right. If you look back at the KHSAA record book, the one online goes back to 98, which is a magical year, of course, in Scott County. From then to now, they haven't had a season like this. I think there might have been a couple where they were 16-14, 17-13, something like that. And they've still, if you look at the schedule, if they start the run now, they've still got a chance to do that this year and get some momentum going into the playoffs.
And that's the main thing that I look at as well. Even though, you got the retirement of Coach Hicks, you got a second high school here, the schedule didn't change. That's the thing about it. And Coach Hicks was always known for the toughest schedule in the state of Kentucky.
And then Tim Glenn went and added some opponents, such as Bourbon County, who I don't think anybody realized was going to be loaded this year. He added Bardstown. He added Bullitt East, some games that have been challenging to say the least. Opening tap goes out of bounds to Douglas. Starters for Scott County: Aaron Leake, Chase Grigsby, Josh Breadwood, Taryn Hamilton, and Elias Richardson not starting tonight. McCaleb Coffey in there as the fifth starter. Coffey steals it. Coffey didn't start the other night. He missed practice for a couple of days. I wonder if Richardson's under the weather or something of that nature. He's been on fire as of late, leading scorer with a career-high 29 the other night in the loss to Bourbon County.
Played very well, very aggressive, asserted himself, and really went after it. It was good to see that the other night.
Turnover off the bat for Douglas. Grigsby gets a shot out of it from the baseline. He gets fouled on the floater, and he'll go to the stripe for 2. Chase Grigsby, he's picked it up lately, especially on the three-point side of things. He's now second on the team with 26 three-pointers. Hit a bunch of big shots the other night against Bourbon. Derek, they just couldn't keep pace in that game. It just seemed like every time they'd score, Bourbon would roar right down and get a layup.
Well, and the thing about it is, if you were watching the game, we didn't do the Bourbon County game on Tuesday night, and I was a spectator. And to see, I was thinking that there was probably a new school record of turnover set the other night, but in fact, it was not. They had 13 turnovers total, but the thing that happened, Cal, is they were in crucial situations and they were back-to-back, which makes it makes 2 looks like it's 10.
Jackson gets the floater, spinning turnaround in the air to go in, 2-2. Briefly, Scott County had something they haven't experienced much this year against Douglas, which was a lead after Grigsby hit the first 2 free throws. 7:12 remaining first quarter. Coffey on the left wing tries to fight it in to Hamilton. Scrapping for the ball there is Jalen Green for Douglas. Goes out of bounds off of him. And Taryn Hamilton will inbound it for Scott County.
Both teams are kind of playing similarly on their defensive end, so putting a lot of pressure on the basketball, and they're trying to keep it out of Hamilton's hands for Scott County and out of Jackson's hands for Douglas.
Leak bounce pass to Hamilton, right corner. Fires it to Coffey, who was backdoor. He spins around, makes a nice move, and gets the layup to go. 4-2 SC. Douglas quickly to Bilal Chad. Chad picks up his dribble. Hamilton on him. Now he gets it to Jackson. Jackson switches hands, drives, runs over Breadwood, and Breadwood takes his nightly charge.
His one of about 5 that he takes, and I will say, Josh Breadwood is the only one who steps in there and takes a charge. And there's so many charge opportunities on our defensive end because of the fact we play such tight defense on the wings, and it allows the dribble penetration.
I like him in the starting lineup for that reason regardless. I don't even see Elias Richardson on the bench. Well, maybe I do. Maybe he's hidden now. He's sitting next to Jeremy Hamilton, I guess.
I didn't see him warm up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He may be sick. I mean, that's been going around. As it might have been off the air that we talked about. Great Crossing girls had a game tomorrow night canceled against Madison Central because they have 8 sick kids on the Central team. Offensive rebound for Coffey. Coffey with 4 quick points, and it's a 6-2 lead.
And a steal. The opening steal of the game, he's got a steal and 2 buckets. I mean, he's playing awfully well right now.
He missed being in the lineup the other night, I guess, because he's wanting to make his presence felt early. Ball partially tipped. It will stay with Douglas as it's knocked into the student section.
And I saw it come off point guard's leg there as Josh Breadwood got his hand on it.
Breadwood and Coffey playing hard so far. Jackson looking for anybody. He'll find Green with Leak on him. Now Green takes it to the hole and 1.
See, Cal, that's what I'm talking about right there. Everything is a drive off the dribble. When make Green shoot over top, make Jackson shoot over top. I know I'm sitting up here and it's easy for us to say that, but you got to remedy something that's killing you, and it's absolutely killing Scott County.
And it's killed him in every game.
It really has.
Jalen Green had 20 the other day, 15.2 on the season, gets 3 the hard way here, cuts it to 6-5.
And Jalen Green, he does not want to shoot a jump shot. He wants to put a dribble down and go hard as he can to the bucket.
And I say the hard way, but he made it look easy, as you pointed out. 2 minutes in, 6-5 Scott County. Grigsby signaling top of the head. Kicks it over to Breadwood.
They're not going to guard
now
Breadwood.
Breadwood for 3. They'll concede that shot every time. Misses off the front of the rim and off the back of the rim as well. Jackson tears down the rebound. Now he brings it down to Bird. Bird fires a wild pass to the right corner, and it will go off of Jalen Green to the Cardinals.
Yeah, good defensive stand right there. Again, a drive to the bucket, but they collapsed and they helped, which caused the bad pass.
Grigsby pushes it across the timeline quickly, guarded by Cameron McMullen. Grigsby over to Leak.
Got to get some movement down there, Cal.
Back to Grigsby to Leak, inside to Hamilton. He stops, kicks it back to Grigsby, and over to Leak. Patiently, the Cardinals, as Leak fires not patiently from the free throw line. Rebound taken down by Jackson. He brings it up. Douglas looking for the lead. Pull up is good. Feathery touch on the 3 for Deshaun Jackson. 8-6 Douglas.
Has he missed in this gym?
Not much.
Good gracious.
3 for 17 the first time when they played at Douglas.
At Douglas,
He seems to like it here. Had 32 the other day. Coffey directing traffic, finds Taryn Hamilton up top. Now Breadwood again left open. Now Jackson will cover him a little bit. And Grigsby will find Coffey at the top of the circle, way off the back of the rim. And McMullen chases down the rebound.
We got 2 possessions with a breadwood jumper and a coffee jumper.
McMullen, right elbow, can't roll it in. Hamilton gets the board.
I think that's what Douglas wants. If they got breadwood and coffee shooting jumpers, that's to their advantage.
Leak to the rack, wild shot. Doesn't even get close. Chad tears down the rebound. Up ahead to Jackson. Now Chad trips in the backcourt, but he regains his footing, and Jackson with a nice pass to Green, who has 5. Jackson has 5, and it's an 8-0 run for the Broncos, who lead 10-6. Seen this movie before.
That's a good backdoor cut.
Leak again, wild on the drive. Jackson quickly up with it for the Broncos. He will pull up again for 3. 13-6.
This is
Tim
ridiculous.
Glenn's got to get a timeout.
Wow.
I just don't know what to say.
I don't either. I mean, I do, but I don't. Something's got to change on the defensive end, trying to guard them man-to-man when you just cannot.
We said Groundhog Day. I didn't want to belabor the point, but it certainly feels like we've been here before. MOS, more of the same.
Yeah, and people that are listening in have to understand what a really good defensive player McCaleb Coffey is. And I'm just telling you how good the Jackson kid is. And did we mention that he's a junior?
Yes,
I think
we did. Did they not pay for the ASCAP license here? Again, we're getting a canned version of red wine over the. This bothers me. I want the real stuff.
Music lovers.
It's like it's Muzak. It's
right.
It's Muzak with, singing. That's it. That's the difference. 13-6, Frederick Douglass, as I mentioned my first world problems here during timeouts. Leak into Grigsby. Scott County trying to find some answers for the Frederick Douglass Broncos. They have found none in 8.5 quarters this season. Jeremy Hamilton's in the game. Leak finds Taryn Hamilton, who kicks it back to Leak. Leak, again, has not been shy about putting it up, but I think they've got to start thinking about taking higher percentage shots than they're getting.
Yeah, and I was okay. That was the best of the 4 that he's
so
taken.
Far, you're right.
That's the best of the 4 that he's taken so far, and I'm okay with that one little dribble going up because that's his strength. But the panic shots that when he gets a lot of pressure on him, he tends to hit the panic button and the ball goes up.
Douglas in control. They can go fast. They can go slow. They seem to be efficient no matter what they do. Ball is blocked by Leak. Green falls down. It will stay with the Broncos. Julius Scarce checks in for Frederick Douglass. 13-6, the Broncos lead. Jackson inbounds to Bird. Bird has been a defensive pest in this series this season. Foul on the floor.
Off the dribble.
It will go against Jeremy Hamilton. Yeah, there's definitely no sight of Elias Richardson on the bench tonight. I don't know if he's in quarantine or what.
Yeah, I bet he's got the flu, the way the flu's going around.
This is problematic, to say the least.
Yeah. And if it is, hope he feels better. Good steal by Chase Grigsby right there. That's just effort, just pure effort right there.
They need something to spark him. Grigsby has done that a time or two this season. See if he can hit a 3 and do it at the other end. Nope, front rim, but Leak there for the rebound. Timely bounce for him, and he banks it in. They needed that one.
Yep,
it was an 11-0 run.
Nice glass right there. Now set your defense. Douglas is going to try to run everything off the dribble right here. Taryn Hamilton has taken the responsibility. That's a good block. Inside,
partially blocked by Hamilton. He gets the rebound, dishes it to Leak. Now Leak will push the issue again off the glass.
Beautiful.
Aaron Leak, we called his name. His ears must have been burning because
right.
He's made a couple of good takes there. 13-10.
I do see a defensive change here. Taryn Hamilton has guarded Deshaun Jackson the last 2 times down court.
Jalen Green gets tied up, triple team. Now he'll find Bird. Bird drives the baseline, bounces it over to Jackson. Jackson draws a crowd. He'll find the foul line jumper is no good by Green. And Hamilton will tear down the board, and here comes Leak once again.
Yeah, Scott County needs to go transition as well.
Jeremy Hamilton to his brother from 3. Taryn off the rim for the tie, and the rebound comes to Jackson.
I tell you what, Jeremy Hamilton can work in there. He's got that football mentality. He's going to rebound the basketball.
Bird, jumper not close. Taryn Hamilton rebound. Here's Grigsby.
Now we got Douglas taking bad shots. That's a good
Grigsby
move right here.
on the drive, and he gets fouled.
Good boy, Chase.
Good strong take as Coffey will check back in. Aiden Reed will check in for Frederick Douglass. 1:56 remaining in the first quarter. 13-10 Broncos.
Let's see on the defensive end down here, Cal, if with Coffee coming back in the game, if they do switch back, have Coffee on Jackson to keep Taryn Hamilton maybe out of foul trouble, but he's done a heck of a job. I mean, they've gone 4 or 5 possessions here with nothing.
Game of runs so far,
Yes.
6-2 out of the gate for the Cards. Then it was 11-0 for the Broncos, and now 5-0 Cardinals as Grigsby will have a chance to get them within 1 with the second free throw after making the first. Chase Grigsby knocks it home. He has 4 all from the line. Scott County down 1.
Chase doing a good job getting to the bucket down there on the other end. They need to be in the lane right here and help. Let the guy shoot over top.
Jalen Green, guarded by Taryn Hamilton, picks up his dribble. Hamilton all over him, and now Coffey and Jeremy Hamilton double up on Scarce, and
it's not a good area to foul right there.
Going to be a foul on Coffey, his second, the Cardinals' 4th.
Scott County really needs to take advantage here of Jackson being out of the game. I think he's getting a breather here. Maybe, I don't know if he's going to stay out for this last 1:40, or he asked to come out, but that's what can happen right there. That's the straight line drive.
Green just easily.
And that's Taryn. He does that on Taryn when Taryn can block every shot that he has. Just move your feet and get over there.
Jackson and Green have combined for all 15. And the Broncos are up 3. 1:22 remaining first quarter. Grigsby guarded by McMullen. Grigsby into Taryn Hamilton, kind of forced that pass, but Hamilton found it, turned around, went to the hole for 2, his first 2.
He's got that one-legged Alex English. I know a lot of people won't remember that, but you remember that.
Grigsby steal for the lead.
Oh, my goodness.
Throw it down, Taryn. Beauty.
As the football team about rushes the floor. One-handed lob dunk for Taryn Hamilton.
Alley-oop off a Grigsby steal gives SC the lead. And that is as good as about 5 3-pointers in terms of momentum, but there's a foul that SC probably didn't need. Taryn will get called for that, his first. But it's a hustle play, going after it, trying to continue what's obviously a good run here.
Just to rewind that for the listeners, Chase Grigsby with a steal, 2-on-1 break, lobs it up, one-handed dunk by Taryn Hamilton.
Floated the pass with one hand. Taryn just tomahawked it. Grabbed it and threw it down with one fell swoop. Now he gets the steal, pushes it ahead to his brother Jeremy, who pushes it ahead to Leak. And Leak is good for 2 more. 18-15, 30 seconds remaining. And Scott County has it rolling right now.
Scott County's got an extra step on the defensive end here. Just do not foul.
Julius Scarce. Scott County being physical right now and making it pay off.
And they're shooting long jumpers.
Bird settles for a 3 that's no good. Taryn Hamilton tears down the rebound. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Gets it ahead to Leak. Leak on another drive. Gets blocked. Tied up.
Did they call a jump or they called on the floor?
They called the jump. Well, 2 of them called the jump.
Anyway. I'll get a timeout here if it's our ball.
Should be staying with the Cardinals.
Yes.
Coffey will inbound. 4.7 seconds remaining. SC up 3. And after the way this first quarter went, that's a good sign.
Got to shoot it, Chase.
2, 1.
Oh,
Grigsby
good step back.
Steps back, gets fouled. Was it on the floor? Oh, no, push off. Wow.
I thought the step back looked awful good.
Armbar.
There was a reason why the step back looked good, because he lunged into the defender.
Himself.
Yes.
So 18-15 will be your score after 1, as that shot wasn't close from 80 feet. Cardinals had some ups and downs. They were up 6-2. They were down 13-6. Now they're up 18-15 through 8 minutes. I want to talk about our sponsors for a minute. Tonight's player of the game will be presented by Denise M. Keene, DMK CPA. I want to also thank Bluegrass Orthopedics, Burger King with both their Georgetown locations. Galvin's on Main. Only one Galvin's on Main, but it's a great place to go before or after the game. Green's Toyota of Lexington, Georgetown Community Hospital, West Banco, Clark's Pump and Shop, Chick-fil-A, Raising Cane's, reading them off the board now.
You're getting
a little easier to find them up at Great Crossing. They've got the banners. But
right there in front of us.
See, here they've got all the Toyota Classic sponsors as well. TMMK, Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Kentucky, also a big supporter of this project. 22, 23 games, I think, when all's said and done. We're about 2/3 of the way through the schedule. I think I counted up the other day. Tonight's the first out of the final 8, so you've got some chances to join us. Some big district games, another one tomorrow night as Scott County will host Bryant Station. But this one, you don't get any bigger than this one right now. I'm Cal Oakes with Derek Varney. James Scoggin also here, our producer, director, photographer. Hope you can read all about it in the news graphic. Please do subscribe. We bring it to you 3 times a week, all the basketball and other sports action that's fit to print. Of course, wrestling, bowling, swimming, a lot of things going on in the wintertime. And baseball and softball will be here before you know it. Drove past the new Great Crossing baseball and softball complex here in Georgetown, and just beautiful. We're going to have double the spring action for you as well. Douglas with the ball to start the second quarter.
Got a matchup here with Chad and Jeremy Hamilton. They're really battling there. See if they're going to get him the ball inside. Jeremy Hamilton's just strong.
Deshaun Jackson's still out of the game. Does he have 2 fouls? Did I miss that? He's still not in the game for Douglas. Drive by Chad. Can't get it to fall, but he'll go to the line.
I was going to say that. I thought he was inbounding the ball to start the quarter. That's why I didn't say he's still out of the game, but it's not him.
It is not him. They've got the combination right now of Scarce, Chad. They have Aiden Reed, they have Jalen Green, and then somebody who didn't even play on Saturday, number 14. I'll have to go to the KHSAA website for that, as I didn't even write it down because they haven't used him much. First free throw from Chad is good.
I'd just like to know if Jackson has 2 fouls. I didn't see 2 fouls, and I think
no, they only have 3 as a team.
Okay.
Interesting. Kai Simpson is number 14. He's in the game. I don't believe he's played in either of the first 2 games. Chad made the first, missed the second. Frederick Douglass cuts the Scott County lead to 2. Ball is tipped out of bounds by Douglas.
I don't want to mention that Chad just missed the second one. He missed the whole rim. He shot an air ball in front of the football team.
That was a hanging Chad.
That's a hanging Chad. That's still hanging.
A floating Chad. 7:30 to go in the half.
Need a bucket here right out of the quarter, right out of the start of the quarter.
Keep the momentum going. They had a 12-2 run to end that first period. Ball out of bounds to Scott County.
That was the right play there with the back screen and Taryn Hamilton coming baseline. McCaleb just kind of delivered a little bit too late, got a hand on him, but that's a beautiful play right. That is a layup every time.
Douglas, such active hands. It's what they do in the full court and the half court. Make you earn it every time down. Taryn Hamilton with a turnaround 3.
Huge.
If he's making that, Douglas might be in trouble.
And we have to do what they're doing down here. They got, Jeremy Hamilton guarding Chad. At their end, they got Green guarding Taryn Hamilton.
Jackson checking back into the game out of necessity. Stuff's getting real for Douglas. It's a 15-2 run for the Cardinals.
Got to help right here. Got to help.
Looked like he might have picked up his dribble there. They didn't call anything. Now he'll find Reed, does Scarce, and Reed sinks the 3. That's a big shot for Douglas. First field goal in a while. Cuts it to 21-19.
And that was from deep. Scott County played well, trapped underneath, kept the ball out of the paint, make it a long 3. And I'm okay with that.
Face, yes, absolutely. Leak to Taryn Hamilton. Taryn guarded by Reed. Now he'll take it in the paint. Floater is blocked. Rebounded by Scarce. Scarce will push it between 2 defenders, with way off. Leak with the rebound.
And if you see what I mean on Taryn on the offensive end, where he goes and makes himself 5'11", that's a charge.
Leak end to end. And yep, they'll call it on him, no doubt about it. Just out of control.
They called a foul on the arm.
Did they
He
really?
called a hack on the arm.
Well, everybody from Scott County was headed back this way. I didn't know what was going on there, and then I saw him hold up one finger. But that foul is on number 14, Jackson.
We absolutely got bailed out of that one because of the fact that Aaron Leak flat out ran over the guy who was waiting for him from midcourt. That's what I don't understand about Aaron. You have to pull up, jump stop at the foul line, and knock that jumper down.
I said Jackson's. Kai Simpson, number 14, sorry. That's his first. Leak makes the first free throw as Jeremy Hamilton sits down. Now you have a 5 of coffee. Taryn Hamilton,
job.
Micah Glenn just checked in for Jeremy Hamilton. Also Breadwood and Leak, who makes the second free throw.
We've seen so many different combinations for Scott County now, especially tonight when the wrench is thrown in with Elias Richardson not here.
5:57 and counting, second quarter. Scott County up by 4. They haven't been ahead this late, certainly against Douglas all season, if at all. They might have had like a 2-0 lead when they played in Lexington. That was a push definitely on. No, they're going to call it on Micah Glenn.
Micah ended up almost on his back.
Been some delayed calls here.
Wow.
Some whistles where the official kind of turns and doesn't really do anything for a second. We apologize for any confusion.
The question is, how does Scott County guy end up almost on his back?
Fouls are 8-4 right now. I'll submit that without comment, as Jackson will step up for a 1-1. Jackson with 8 points. He had them early in a 13-6 run to start the game. Makes this one. Cuts the deficit for the Broncos to 3, 23-20.
Jackson had to step in and get his own 5 from his players in the lane instead of them going to him on the
That's an interesting dynamic. I don't want to read too much into that. Makes both. That's 10 points for him. I'd be giving that guy 5 just solely for what he did the other day.
Absolutely. Now Scott Kenny's got to be. You got to look opposite here. Dribble in there.
Coffee to Leak. Leak in the corner to Breadwood. Quickly fires into Taryn Hamilton. It was deflected. Reed tried to save it for Douglas. It will stay with the Cardinals.
Josh has to be careful. That's a touch pass there when you catch it in the corner and Taryn's breaking to the bucket there. You cannot delay that one.
James Scoggin was the closest guy to that pass.
Right.
Glenn inbounds to Leak. Leak tries to post up Bird. Now he'll find Coffee. Hamilton behind the arc. Lets it float. Off the back of the rim, no good. But a strong offensive rebound by Breadwood, but he loses it out of bounds.
He's working.
Goes back to the Broncos with 5:22 remaining in the half. Broncos trying to tie or go ahead here.
Josh Breadwood has a big Valentine is what he has, a huge heart.
He's got a motor.
Wow.
You know, coaches would say if I had 5 of him or 12 of him, I'd be all right. Jackson, Douglas kind of slowly setting the offense tonight. Obviously seeing some different defensive looks from the Cardinals. But they're doing a lot of the same things against it, which is driving to the hoop. Jackson with the penetrating pitch to Chad there. It gets blocked out of bounds.
I think the referees are really letting them play, and it's to Scott Kenny's advantage because they're blocking a lot of shots here. Taryn Hamilton's inserting himself.
They're letting them play here. They're not letting them play around half court, which is strange. Here under the basket, anything goes. It's draw blood or else.
I really, really like the defensive assignment.
And there it is, another hand check. Coffee just kind of grabbed his arm just ever so slightly. The defensive holding and an automatic first down.
Yeah, that's 3 on McCaleb.
And obviously a short bench tonight.
Golly.
And Coach Glenn kind of rotating everybody in. Jeremy Hamilton will come back into the game. Chance to tie here for Bilal Chad. Not the best free throw shooter, not the best team at shooting free throws. 62% on the season, but boy, the other day when they needed to go 21 for 23 in the second half, they did, didn't they?
They sure did. Everything they did it well.
Everything they touched turned to gold in that one. 90-81 victory on Saturday afternoon to take the gold ball back to Lexington. As the 25th annual Toyota Classic champions. I think they said on the news that was their first tournament title of any kind in school history, which makes sense, only the 3rd year.
Well, good for them.
And they haven't had a lot of success in basketball until this season.
Chad, he shot another one.
Chad with another air ball, chance to tie the game, goes by the boards.
But we can say he's a great listener. I mean, what the football team was saying? Air ball.
They were inviting it. They were encouraging it all the way.
He is a sharing individual. There you go.
Caring and sharing, and Reed gets caught in the air against Taryn Hamilton, and that's only the 15th foul, so nobody's going to be shooting yet. And now Grigsby checking back into the game. Coffee looked like he might be, and then he just moved to the end of the bench. He's got 3 fouls. We won't see him again for a while. He'll take a seat next to Chris Wilhite and Landry Woods. Hamilton with a strong take. Taryn, that is.
Great take. They can't stop that. There's nothing they can do to stop that.
Taryn's got 9. Not many teams in Kentucky can stop it.
No.
SC
if he
up
just
3.
asserts himself and he's aggressive on both ends.
Another strong take by Deshaun Jackson, but way off.
As you see, Taryn Hamilton's size bothered Jackson right there. Great defensive adjustment.
Grigsby to Hamilton. Thought about firing from about 25 feet. Now he'll head fake, and he'll kick it to Grigsby.
Move and screen. They need to move and screen.
Hamilton guarded by Chad. Works around
and
him.
One.
And he traveled. They're going to call. At least they're going to say he did.
Unbelievable.
Tim Glenn is just beside
I don't blame
himself.
him. I do not blame him. That was a jump stop is all that was.
Have you heard of a Euro step, sir?
That's not even close.
Tim's got to be careful. He's going to get the bench warning at the very least. He's out of the box and in his face. Under 4 minutes to go in the half. 25-22 Scott County. Jarvis Bird guarded by Josh Breadwood. Cameron McMullen inside to Jackson. Cuts it to 1. Jackson with 11 points. Make it 12.
You'll be a little quicker on that backside help with Jackson. I don't know. If I was them, I wouldn't have Taryn Hamilton fronting Jackson. That doesn't make sense to me. Make Jackson turn and shoot over Hamilton.
And the foul on Douglas. That'll be their 6th. So the next one's going to be a bonus for the Cards. Next one will be a double bonus for the Broncos. 3:39 left in the half.
Is there any coincidence that the bad walking call, Coach Glenn gets all over him, on the other end we get a touch foul?
Yeah, and Coach Hicks was the master of
Yes.
that, working the officials and getting the call. And we're seeing
for the next call. You'll get one against you, then you'll get the next one.
Connor Haga checks into the game. Douglas putting a lot of guys in the game we haven't seen. I think they're concerned about the pace of this game a little bit. They had to come back and play a tough game right on Monday night after the Classic. Steal here by Douglas and a spin.
That's a walk
by
right
Green.
there. There's your walk.
And they're just going to call it a block
Right.
on Breadwood, and it's going to stay with Douglas, but he took about 4 steps.
He did. They called it out of bounds. No foul.
Okay.
Or first down.
Something between these two teams. They're familiar with that.
They're banging.
At least the two schools.
If Taryn stays behind Jackson, we're fine. Jackson has scored over top when Taryn tries to front.
Offensive foul. And you're right.
There you go.
Ever since that bogus traveling call, there's been 2 or 3 fouls against Douglas. And now Kurt Young is kind of putting his hand out saying, what for? So both coaches getting the word, a little different scoring pace of this one, 25-24, not what we saw the other day when Douglas was pushing 50 in the half and ended up hanging 90. Inbound to Grigsby. Scott County nursing the 1-point lead. Grigsby fights through the pressure and throws it away.
They can't leave him. That's not, you know what? Chase throws the ball away, but we got 2 men guarding 1 here. Somebody has got to come running up opposite side and stay with him.
Instead, they're flat-footed, and he tried to find Breadwood, who's about 5'8", with a 6'4" pass in the left corner. And it was a turnover. Now Deshaun Jackson fires to Jalen Green off the side of the rim. Rebound, Taryn Hamilton once again. Douglas has gone cold from outside.
Taryn Hamilton is flirting with a nice pass.
Drive and dish, bounce pass to his brother. Jeremy will go to the line.
Unless they call a charge. No, did they call? Surprise me.
God forbid.
Taryn has to be close, as I was saying, to a double-double in the first half here, because I know that he's getting about every rebound.
9 points. I would guess 10 rebounds.
Yeah, he has to be.
Jeremy rolls the first free throw off, no good. 2:45 remaining in the half. Scoreboard doesn't move much lately. 25-24, Scott County leads Frederick Douglass. Round 3 of this heavyweight fight in the 42nd District. Off again, 0 for 2 at the line.
That's the only struggle you have with Jeremy Hamilton being in there. It's kind of tough. He can't.
Another rebound for Taryn Hamilton. And he will go to the line, and he's the best free throw shooter on the team.
Jackson cannot score over Hamilton. Great defensive move.
Been a chess match here in the first half, a lot different, and you see that when teams play that many times that close together, it is like a playoff series in the NBA, if you will, because you get a lot of differences in strategy from game to game.
Well, yeah, and you have to
reinvent yourself.
Right, you have to know, as Coach Glenn does here, hey, Caleb Coffey's a good defender, but he's about the same size as Jackson, is not as long as Taryn Hamilton. The length is really hurting Jackson on this end right now, as it's hurting Green as well when he's going to the bucket, because Taryn is asserting himself on the defensive end.
Hamilton makes the first free throw. He'll get the bonus. Scott County up 2. Hamilton in double digits with 10 points. Jackson leads Frederick Douglass with 12. Leak has 8 for Scott County. Been a defensive struggle here in the second period. It was 18-15 SC after the first as they missed the second free throw. Rebound came down to Douglas. They pushed the issue, but Grigsby with a steal. Now Grigsby finds Leak from 3. Yes! Aaron Leak with 11. Big shot, pushes the lead from 2 to 5 with 2:15 remaining in the half.
Douglas has to worry him a little bit. Aaron Leak is probably a 25. That's a block. It's a huge block.
Another quick drive by Jarvis Bird. He'll go to the line. I say he's not a great free throw shooter, but he was the other day.
Yes,
so
he was.
I'm not going to reverse jinx it or do anything here. Just say that he'll step up with 2:09 remaining. Broncos down 5. Cards have played well on the defensive end for the most part. Some uncontested drives in the first quarter we didn't like. Bird drops the first one without touching anything but net.
Remember the days of charges being player control fouls?
Imagine that.
No free throws.
Block or charge, as Rex Chapman would say.
Yes.
29-26 as Bird makes both. 2:08, 2:07 remaining. Grigsby guarded by Bird. He will take it to the baseline. Stops, pops. Yes,
wow.
Tough angle. And Grigsby with his first field goal of the night. He
Beautiful
won't be
chase.
denied. Up
Beautiful.
5.
They got him trapped over here. They got to find a man here.
Jalen Green was open for 3. Now he finds McMullen for a better one that rolled in and out. Jeremy Hamilton with the rebound. Scott County with a chance to carry some momentum into the locker room here. They're up 31-26 with the ball, ticking down to about 90 seconds remaining in the half. Dangerous pass that Jeremy Hamilton recovered. Now gets it over to Leak. Jeremy with the ball again. Weaves it to Grigsby.
Got to get some screens here, Cal, in this offensive end.
Taryn Hamilton up top. He's made a couple from up there tonight.
Screen, there you go. Come on up, screen. There you go.
Guarded by Green. Now Scare steps in. McMullen takes it away. McMullen uncontested to the rim. Now he gets in the air, dishes to Green, who finishes with the layup. Green has 9. Lead is 3 for Scott County.
Turnover. Come get the ball. There you go.
Kill you every time. I think you got to consider maybe trying to get one shot here. Will Douglas push the issue?
Yeah, I don't know if we can hold it that long.
I don't know. Jeremy Hamilton, foul situation isn't great considering the absence of Richardson. You might like to kill as much time as you can. Grigsby, dangerous pass again into Taryn Hamilton that Bird got his fingertips on. 41 seconds left.
If Taryn takes 2 steps back, he's on the block. We're trying to give him a lob, 14 feet out on the court.
Grigsby inside to Taryn.
Got to score there.
Caught in the air, rolls it off the rim. Scarce rebound, but it's going to be a foul on Douglas. Jeremy Hamilton got knocked down, and that means he'll go to the line. Double bonus. Both teams now, 32.7 seconds to go. Cards up 3, wanting to increase that as they head toward intermission. Jeremy misses his 3rd free throw, 0 for 3.
This is it's Coach Glenn's fear. When you play Jeremy Hamilton, you're going to get everything out of him.
Except for free throws.
But set the free throws and just hitting
made
jump shots.
one.
Attaboy.
32-28. 32 seconds remaining in the first half. Jarvis Bird. Looks like Douglas will be content to take one shot.
And
Deshaun Jackson again out of the game. And they've managed to kind of stem the tide without him for the most part here in the second quarter.
Cal, you think there may be, with all the flu going around, you think he may be under the weather a little bit?
He might be fighting something off.
I bet he is.
And that kind of evens it out if that's the case, because
Yeah.
Richardson not on the court tonight.
Big defensive stand right here.
5 seconds. Drive. Green. Dish. Good. And that is tough for Douglas to get within 2 at the end of the half.
And the momentum.
As the layup by Zayden Ferguson, another name that we haven't talked much about. 32-30, your halftime score.
Great half.
It was certainly a great half for Scott County, a great half for both teams. Very competitive, hard fought, a lot of fouls, a lot of contact. But in some respects, the officials let them play in a lot of key sequences.
And I think that's totally to our advantage, because that's just the way Scott County plays. I mean, they're going to hold, they're going to bang, they're going to knock, and I'm glad the referees did that. They let more go, as you said earlier, big fouls, but yet called the kind of the nickel dimers, the reaches and the holds and so forth.
Game of runs early and then a defensive struggle. Defensive chess match, I think we should say.
Right. Pretty well played half right there. I mean, as far as both teams not turning it over much, right.
I don't think either team can complain. We'll look at the stats. Shooting percentages about the same, 45.5% for Douglas, 44% for Scott County. Free throws, 7 for 9, Douglas, 8 for 12, Scott County. Turnovers, about the same, 7 for Douglas, 6 for Scott County. Leading scorers, 12 for Jackson, 9 for Green for Douglas. Leak, 11 10 Hamilton for Scott County. Again, kind of a wash there. Grigsby's played well, I thought. 3 assists, 4 for 4 from the line, couple of steals. That's been key for the Cardinals as well. Blocks, Coffee with a couple for SC. Jackson's played 9 minutes and 37 seconds to get those 12 points. As we mentioned, SC without Elias Richardson. Derek Varney, if you see any other trends on there while I tweet some first half stuff to my followers.
Yeah, you're looking at the, I always look at the turnover battles here. I mean, it's pretty even. Scott County was 7, and Douglas has 8. So I mean, a combined 15 is not bad. That's a well-played first half.
Because it was an intensely played.
Yes, it was.
When you can take care of the ball that well, all things considered, I don't think either coach can complain about that.
Points off the bench, points in the paint. Scott County has gotten better. They're actually Scott County's 14-12. They're +2 in that category, which you have to look at because how many points they've been giving up over the past couple games in the paint. Points off turnovers. Scott County's 11-6 in that category.
So, Derek Varney, if you were Coach Tim Glenn, you've kind of got Douglas on the ropes really for the first time. They haven't been able to say that at all. They haven't really been in a game much closer than 8 or 9 points in the second half the first 2 times around. What do you say to your team at halftime?
Keep up the defensive intensity. They're playing very well defensively down here. Yes, they've given up a couple drives. That's going to happen. They've given a couple long threes. That's okay. But by and large, Jackson just going off and killing you and doing whatever he wants. They make the defensive adjustment. They put the length of Taryn Hamilton on him, and that's just been a difference maker to me. I mean, I can tell you right now, make someone else beat you. Don't let Jackson come out here and get 30, 35 points on you. It's okay. He's going to get 12 to 15. You can do that. Just don't let somebody else get 18 to 20 as well. And that's what Green can do. McMullen's not shooting the ball well from the outside. He's shooting, it's okay. Let him shoot as many deep threes as he wants. And then on the offensive end, they can't stop Taryn Hamilton. If we're going to spread it out, move, screen, and then get the ball to Taryn, whenever you can.
Yeah, it seems like to me when Taryn Hamilton sets his mind to it, there's not many teams that can stop him. He was on the other day in the second half of the Toyota Classic final. I didn't think really Douglas had many answers for him. It's just a matter of the want to and the creativity to get him the ball in places where he can do that.
Yeah, no question. And when he makes himself, and I always talk about, and I don't know if people understand this, Taryn makes himself smaller sometimes when he goes to the buck. He'll go up and he'll do kind of a double clutch, and he's bent over. Coach Glenn calls it he hunkers down. You know how that's a Coach Hicks and a Coach Glenn word. You hunker, son, quit hunkering down. When you go inside, you get as big as you can. Use your length. When you have someone 2 or 3 inches shorter than you, and you have length on them, they can't contest your shot. They're either going to foul you. I'm gonna draw a foul, or I'm gonna put the ball in the basket. That's the only mindset that Taryn can have to be successful.
So Scott County with the lead in a crucial 42nd district game. We mentioned both teams come in with 2 losses. Henry Clay in first place in the district. And this is kind of going to put the winner in the catbird seat for second. Depending on how things shake down, you could have a 3-way tie for first, a tie for first, a 3-way tie for second. A lot of things still to be decided in Scott County. A lot of games in hand, as they say in hockey. They can kind of control their destiny a little bit if they win out. So I think Coach Tim Glenn kind of thinks if they're peaking at the right time, if they're turning the corner, as he said to me a lot, it's a good time to do it because a lot of district action still to be played. Scott County kind of backloaded the schedule a little bit with those district games, and that could play into their hands with a team that's had its ups and downs.
Sure, and this one, this next 16 minutes is going to be huge for Scott County season. Because the mere fact they can win this ball game, you know what? They're going to go tear that locker room apart. They're going to be excited. They're going to say, "Hey, let's get out here tomorrow night. Go ahead and knock Bryan Station off, and get 2 district wins and move us right back up." Because what I saw the other day, they were sitting at I think you put the standings out, and they were at 4th.
Yeah, you can really finish Bryan Station if you win this game and beat Bryan Station. You kind of take Bryan Station out of the equation because you've beaten them twice. And now you've split with Douglas if that's the case. So we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But if you can accomplish that, get that daily double here Thursday, Friday, and going into the next week, they'll have a whole week again to get ready for Henry Clay. That's the scenario they had the first time. And I think it served them well. They didn't run out of steam in that game. Henry Clay just kind of did the things you need to do to win a game on the road. Hit a lot of shots.
They
hit a lot
did.
of contested shots.
And again, I said this about I was talking to someone today about this game tonight with Douglas. I was like, to have a team shoot 2 games in a row against you like Douglas shot on Saturday, to come back and have Henry Clay, Henry Clay may shoot like that at home. I know Scott County's got to go there. But you know what? Henry Clay probably has to play us again in the district tournament here at Scott County. So that's, you got to, as we said before, you got to hold serve, as they say in tennis.
Having that thing here, yeah, you've got to hold serve. You got to overcome some break points like Roger Federer did the other night.
Yes.
To advance. As we mentioned a couple of times on the broadcast this year, yes, in fact, the district tournament will be here. It's Sayre's turn to host it. And, of course, if you've been to their facility, it's not nearly large enough for an event like that. So Scott County stepping in, doing the neighborly thing is certainly going to benefit them to host that here this year on the boys' side, especially where it's such, I think, a balanced, more so than it's ever been since I've been around, a thing that 3 or 4 teams have a chance to win.
Completely. You don't have everybody kind of fight for that runner-up spot, with Scott County, with everybody thinking Scott County's going to march on. Very, very interesting district tournament. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I think it's going to play out, and I have a feeling it's going to play out to Scott County's advantage.
Score across town. It's not a high school game, but you may be interested in. Georgetown men's basketball trailing early by 2 to Shawnee State. That's a battle of, I believe, right now the top 2 teams in the Mid-South Conference, and of course Georgetown undefeated, ranked number 1 in the country.
Wow.
So I may head over there to that one after this one's over. We've got a long way to go in this one. I mean, regulation may not settle this one tonight. Just got a funny feeling about this game. Is it's going to go down to the wire, and certainly Scott County Douglas hasn't done that yet this year, so it would be a good time for the Cards to do that. 32-30 your score, Scott County leading, and I don't want to say it's a must-win, but certainly an important game for their hopes as they go forward toward the postseason.
Cal, we will not call this must-win a must-win.
But it
right.
It may or may not be.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
It's rumored to be a pretty significant game for Scott County. You don't want to go, 13 losses. That just sounds bad. And then you're getting to the point where you've almost got to win out to avoid being 500 or below during the regular season. There's just something about that mark. I think you want to get some momentum. You want to be on that plus side of the ledger going into the postseason, regardless of where you're seated, I think.
You're exactly right, and the mere fact that the first 2 games against Douglas really weren't close, that you're talking about a huge confidence booster for Scott County. These guys beat us and beat us well, score 90 points on us, and then we're going to come out here and beat them on our home court and better ourselves in the district. It's big. These 16 minutes are big. I
mean, you can look at that Toyota Classic game. It was a 9-point gap at the end. Scott County got housed in that game. It was a 26-point first half deficit. They made a run early in the third quarter, and then they kind of extended the game with fouls, and Douglas made their free throws to hold serve, as you said. But it's tough. It's been a tough go here, as they haven't had many answers. But it's been little things. And things that aren't happening as much tonight, like a lot of long rebounds that turned into 3-pointers. If you look at Douglas, I'm only seeing 3 3-pointers. And Jackson hit 2 of those early, just kind of spotted up and did it with a guy in his face. So,
right, and you're going to Scott County's going to have to do right here is you have to know that Frederick Douglas is going to press as Bourbon County. We saw Tuesday night. They came out. Scott County had a chance to go in, which Coach Glenn and I had a chance to go in up 3 Tuesday night. Had a couple turnovers. You end up being down 2 or 3 at the half. When at least you can do, you should either be up 6 because you had that possession. You either need to be up 6, or the worst you can do is be up 3. Whether you go in, you look up after some turnover. So my point being, they got to weather the storm right here because there's going to be a lot of pressure unless I see no. Douglas is coming out in a 2-3 zone right here, Cal.
Interesting. And if Douglas gets that lead and you do basket swapping like Scott County did with Bourbon County the other night, it won't end well. You've got to get stops. You've got to continue to get stops if you're the Cardinals.
And this is a weakness of ours right here is against the zone.
Coffey finds a seam, stops and pops. Wow. Hamilton with a tip in.
Nobody puts a body on him, and he goes aggressively to the bucket. There's no stopping Taryn Hamilton.
Taryn with the authoritative start. Cards up 4. 7:35 remaining third quarter. Now a fade away from Jackson is no good. Grigsby gets the rebound, but it's tipped away by McMullen. Leak recovers. Scott County up quickly. Coffee drives the baseline and travels.
He needs to just go ahead and keep going.
Just keep going to the hoop.
Yep, absolutely. Just go. And I think that is something he has no confidence on the offensive end.
I was just going to say, he doesn't have that confidence in his game yet to finish at the rim. He makes layups and threes. That's about it. Jackson, he makes anything. And there's the three that we talked about from him. He hadn't hit one in a while.
Well, and you notice right there, Taryn's hands are down. He wasn't aggressively trying to deny Jackson the ball. It's going to happen.
Kurt Young has managed Jackson's minutes tonight, but he's got 15 and has the Broncos within 1. Now Coffey on the left wing, guarded by Jackson. Gets it over to Taryn Hamilton. He will stop as Green put his head down for just a second. Taryn says, what the heck, I'll fire. Chad got the rebound, however.
Come out higher, Taryn. Come out higher.
Jackson looking for the lead. Gets it into the paint. Now he kicks it back out to McMullen in the corner, guarded by Grigsby. Spin move.
There's no way. Oh, my goodness.
He made the same shot Grigsby just made earlier on him. I believe it was on him. And he puts Douglas back in front, 35-34.
We got to be able to answer on this end.
And just what you said happened with Bourbon the other day. Now Hamilton to Leak. No. Coffey over the back.
It's 4 on him.
And technically, there's no such thing as over the back, but that's essentially what he did.
Yeah,
he went over and made contact. And he's the smaller guy up against Chad, so he had to do something to get leverage. Douglas ball, Douglas lead. 6:20 remaining third quarter. 35-34. Broncos over the Cards. Bird slowly running the offense with Breadwood on him.
See, I think we need to apply more pressure. Everything on our end's rushed up because of Douglas's pressure. We need to do the same thing on that end.
Green picks up his dribble, finds Jackson. Jackson loses it to Grigsby. Grigsby's had a great game defensively tonight as far as the takeaways are concerned.
Don't play with the ball. Pull up right there, Aaron.
Pull up 15-footer is
nice.
Good.
That's his game right there.
Back in front. Leak gives Scott County the lead.
Mid-range Leak. There's another turnover. Let's go.
Steal by Leak, but now Green tried to take it right back and commits the foul.
It's 2 straight turnovers by Douglas. Scott County has to capitalize on this end.
That's what they didn't do the other day. They didn't take advantage of any turnovers.
Right. And Bird is coming at them on the offensive end like Bourbon County was coming at them the other night.
First quarter was Frederick Douglas' most generous quarter the other day, and they still were ahead 26-7 at the end of it.
Right. Good timeout by Coach Glenn. He sees that he has to get more movement down here on the offensive end, and I think that's what he's going to tell them. Guys, we have to continue to move, screen, and get to the bucket.
Good 30 for Tim. 36-35. SC with the lead and the ball. Aaron Leak with the go-ahead 15-footer to answer a quick Frederick Douglass run. This game brought to you by Bluegrass Orthopedics, Burger King, Galvin's, Greens Toyota of Lexington, Georgetown Community Hospital, West Banco, Steve Skierman and Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, Clark's Pump and Shop, People's Bank, Georgetown College. DMK CPA will present tonight's Player of the Game award, and right now got a couple of candidates for it, I would say. Ball tipped around. Chase Grigsby had to jump out of the way to avoid having it go off his foot, but it will stay.
Out of his way for his own, almost his own turnover there.
Self-preservation.
Yes. Now we're going something different where Taryn's throwing the ball in bounds. I think he's going to throw it in and curl around right here is what we're going to see. Here it comes. Don't throw it if he's not there. Now clear out. He's got Chad on him. Chad cannot guard him at all.
Taryn to the hoop. A little touch foul there on Chad.
Let them add up. Let the fouls add.
(36-35). Scott County leads. 5:18 remaining third quarter. Grigsby lobs it into Leak over the top of Bird. Leak drives to that same spot where he hit the go-ahead shot.
Oh, it's a walk. Yes.
Bird will travel.
Now, if you notice, Aaron didn't have his shoulders or his feet square.
It was not the least bit square. That was the one thing that was lacking there. He kind of settled for It wasn't even a floater. It
No.
was an off-balance leaner.
Throw the lob. There you go. Right there.
Hamilton
Go up strong, Taryn.
Once again. No, he gets fouled. Can't quite get the and one, but he'll have a chance to get two at the line with 5:05 remaining in the third quarter. Scott County nursing that lead. So similar to the Bourbon County game in terms of what the score was at this point on Tuesday night. It just has a different feel, though. It feels like Scott County is playing a much better defensive game tonight.
Well, when you're not underwater struggling just to get to the top of the water, we're there. It really does.
You make shots and then give yourself time to get back.
But it's putting yourself on the offensive end, as you're saying, in position to hit shots.
Scarce to Green, and he buries the equalizer. 38-38. Three-pointer is good for Jalen Green, who has 12 points. Now Leak tries to get the answer, gets his own rebound, however. Floater off the glass, no good. Tipped around by Jeremy Hamilton.
That's a walk there, yes.
And once again, the travel by Jarvis Bird, who wants to know what he did.
You got to have...
Actually, it might have been Julius Scares. He's the one that had the ball and fell to the hardwood underneath the student section, and they're getting on him. Grigsby inbounds to Breadwood for three. Yes!
Wow.
Josh Breadwood claps his hands, and why not?
As he's ready to play defense on Bird now. He's down. Look at his stance.
Biggest shot of his senior season. And now
airball.
Short on the airball attempt to equalize it. Jeremy Hamilton rebound quickly ahead to his brother. Taryn over to Leak. Leak drives. Big shot by Josh Breadwood. Can't get over the unmitigated gall there. Taryn Hamilton walked.
Taryn has to get lower. Again, I know I'm trying to describe to the viewers. Taryn's catching the ball, knees locked, standing straight up. You sit down as if you're sitting down almost on a couch with a defender. You feel the defender behind you, and you reach out and you go to the ball and snatch it and then make your move. Taryn's standing straight up and not feeling the defensive man, and it made him walk.
And we do wrestle with that. Sometimes if you're our viewers, we're not trying to insult your intelligence by describing it to you. We do have some listeners on the newsgraphic.com website. Kind of have to describe it a little bit to them in detail.
There you go, baby.
End to end off the rebound. And Scott County up by 5. Frederick Douglass wants timeout with 3:46 remaining in the third quarter.
Coach Young's going nuts because two guys separated. I don't know, because right there, Deshaun Jackson didn't even try to go up against Aaron Leak, and I don't know if he's in foul trouble, but he completely backed off and gave Aaron a wide open layup.
Aaron Leak goes 84 feet off the defensive glass because Scott County gets biggest lead of the second half at 43-38. Scott County hanging in, holding on to that 5-point lead. It's kind of gone between, it was a 1-point deficit early as Jackson and Green helped Douglass make another run. Now Jackson takes that off-balance turnaround, and you just didn't need to foul.
No, you did not at all, Cal. I mean, he's turned sideways. He cannot shoot over Taryn Hamilton, and he got fouled and bailed out right there. Good gracious.
Jackson makes the first free throw to bring it within 4. Hits them both. 3-point game. Cards up. 3:33 remaining third quarter. Grigsby.
I would use Jeremy Hamilton to do nothing but screen for his brother.
Leak for 3 from the left corner is long. Rebound tipped around. Breadwood fighting for it. Now Jeremy Hamilton gets it and calls time.
Jeremy.
Saves the possession. I'm not always a fan of that, and he'll be down to 2 timeouts now. That's the only issue.
Especially when he had already saved the ball and he really wasn't falling out of bounds. I think it was get this out of my hands.
Yeah, exactly. Self-preservation.
Mm-hmm.
Three-point lead, though. can't fault the kid for possessions are going to be crucial in this game for sure. Tough one over at Davis Reed Alumni Gym as Georgetown is down 6. They're down 6 with about the same amount of time left there. That's in the first half, 3:25. We're here with 3:16 remaining in the third quarter. And it's 43-40. Scott County just used its third timeout. This one's going to be a full. As Tim Glenn, I don't think that's a bad one there, all things considered. Kind of collect your thoughts here.
If you haven't used one, I mean, he obviously didn't instruct Jeremy to use my timeout, but
anything you can do, I think, to kind of break Douglas's, I don't want to say momentum, because they haven't really had a lot of momentum, but to kind of keep them from getting anything going here at all.
And Taryn needs to keep, I'll keep saying, keep the length, keep your length up, because they can't do anything with that on the offensive or defensive. They need to score right here. There we go. Go strong.
Taryn. And he'll get fouled and go to the line as he went up strong against the double team, as you said. And Hamilton, who has 4 points this half and 14 overall, will try to pad that. He's averaging 21 points and 9 rebounds per game on the season. Has hit a team-high 29 three-pointers and actually made that 30 tonight. Makes the free throw as well, one of the top free throw shooters in the state of Kentucky.
I think he's probably past his rebound average as well. I'm sure he's got well over.
I would say, how many did he have at halftime? My goodness. He had 10. He had a double-double in the first half.
He's gotten a couple this half right now.
Makes both free throws. Once again, a 5-point lead for County. 45-40 over Douglas.
Now, normally Douglas will get a 3 out of this situation to cut the lead. There we go.
Steal by guess who? Josh Breadwood, the defensive stopper. Leak with a chance to give Scott County its biggest lead. Yes, scoop shot on the drive. Aaron Leak has come to play tonight. He has 17, but there again quickly, but this time the steal again by Jeremy Hamilton. Similar situation to the Bourbon County game where they answered quickly, but this time Scott County got a hand in there and took it back. Taryn Hamilton post up, knocked away by Scarce.
They've called a couple phantom fouls against Taryn right there when he does that, but then right there he obviously got he got smacked.
Something got hit.
Yeah.
They'll say it was the basketball. Inbounds pass to Leak to Grigsby. Grigsby into Jeremy Hamilton. Layup is good. 9-point lead for the Cardinals.
Jackson is there's got to be something wrong, Cal, because he's very flat foot on both ends.
Yeah, he does not look like himself, but I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. We'll take advantage of it when we can.
No question. Because I've watched him.
Scott County's missing Elias Richardson, his second leading scorer on the season with 15.7. At the very least, Jackson's given.
There's another turnover.
15 points as Grigsby on the steal. Chance to make it double digits. He loses control, gets it back, saves it.
On your feet.
And now he starts a 2-on-1. Jalen Green will take it to the rack. 49-42. That was a big turn there.
That's a 4-point turnaround there.
Huge 4-point swing. Instead of 11-point lead, it's back to 7. And Chase Grigsby will slow it down. Yeah, now a steal. And there's what you can't do, but they'll throw it away. Douglas, thank you very much. Aaron Leak took it away.
Now
Grigsby.
take advantage of
steal by Scarce. 5-point game. Unbelievable.
Throw it down court.
Good Lord, guys. It wasn't anything fancy they were doing there. It was just kind of lazy, a couple of steps off. It wasn't pressure.
They got Jackson Gardner, Aaron Leak. They need to go ahead and get the ball. Taryn's got to be active right here. Go get it.
Grigsby to the rack.
That's a charge.
Nope,
that's a charge.
Wave it off.
That's completely a charge.
Yep, that's the right call. As McMullen was right there and drew it. And Douglas making a run. They've got it. It was going to be an 11-point game. We said it was a huge swing. Now it's down to 5. And you can't really call a timeout here because you've used 3.
That's a good substitution right there. He's had, 2 turnovers in a row and a charging call. So that's 3 turnovers in a row. Just let him get his thoughts together. I mean, Chase is going to continue to play hard, but he can't make these mistakes in crucial situations.
He'll give you positive energy, but he'll also give you the kind of energy that makes you scratch your head. Coffee with the he tried to save it.
That had to hurt.
Oh,
that hurt bad.
Okay. He ran right flush into the scorer's table in a
Do we want to mention?
Yeah, in the midsection.
In the midsection, exactly.
And it's
what a hustle play. My goodness.
Yeah, hey. Whew. Give us time to update Twitter as lots happened here in the last couple of minutes.
And just to catch everybody up, McCaleb gets his hands on a pass. Ball goes to the scores table. He tries to save it and runs right into the scores table as he just checked in for Chase Grigsby. So he's going to gather himself. I think he's going to be okay. I don't see any leg injury or anything. I think he's just got a little midsection trouble there.
Yes. I think he's reconsidering life right now, but in a minute or two, he'll be fine. Three consecutive SC turnovers here preceded that play.
Yeah, that's.
He's up and getting still not feeling well.
It's kind of making me a little nauseated too.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of us have been there at a time or two in our lives where, yep, it's tough.
He's a man. I don't know if I don't know if Trainer Dan is maybe a thigh injury because he hit awful hard on the.
He did. It might be a deep thigh bruise. Whatever it is, it's going to make them shorthanded by two starters now. As we've mentioned a couple of times, Elias Richardson not playing.
That's a walk. That's a great. Oh, it's great help. That's a really bad call right there.
Oh,
my goodness.
Leak with his hands in the air.
What Josh came off the back of the screen to help, and the Douglas kid runs right into him and walked because he was so surprised he was there. Just great defense.
Foul getting called on Jeremy Hamilton. The lob pass to Jalen Green, and Douglas is within 3. Hamilton with 4 fouls. We've talked about how he doesn't mind using his 5. He's only got 1 more to use. That's Jeremy Hamilton.
They've gone back to a kind of a semi-zone here.
Yeah. Scott County, likewise, will be content, I think, to hang on as Coffey will walk back to not even the trainer's table. He'll lie on the floor.
Yeah, I don't know if it.
Kind of out of view of the spectators, but in our view, Taryn just dribbling out the time now. Good thing to do. Scott County shorthanded right now, to say the least.
They need to get at least a good attempt right here and not something.
5 seconds.
There we go.
From 3. I don't know if that's good, but it'll go.
That was huge.
He's got 20 points, and Leak with the buzzer beater. Scott County 52, Frederick Douglass 46.
That right there completely made up for the turnovers that happened previous to that on this offensive end.
Exactly, because you've doubled the lead there after a lot of giveaways in a row.
Sure. We've had plenty of opportunities, I think, to put this thing into double digits.
Yeah, they had their chance specifically to go up 11 when Chase Grigsby had a steal and gave it right back, kind of got it knocked away. And then 2 more turnovers in the half-court offense. Leak with 20 on the night. Taryn Hamilton with a double-double. Scott County needs it badly. And they're up 6. Can they hold on?
And I think our possession should be out of this quarter, which is huge because I think they got it first and there were no jump balls that quarter.
McCaleb Coffey has got both trainers holding him up right now. Dan Volpe and Hannah Clayton down here. I think he's going to be all right. But I think it's just a severe recovery time.
And we're not laughing at the kid at all.
No,
we're just laughing at each other.
It's a knowing.
Oh.
It's been their experience that don't want to get the T-shirt.
That is.
He's walking things off right now.
Yes.
Okay, so the situation is he's out of the game. Richardson's not even here. Jeremy Hamilton has 4 fouls. They're in a situation right now. I believe Coffey has at least 3 fouls in addition to his physical ailment right now. Scott County up against it, but they're leading by 6.
I bet you see Mr. Coffey in here in just a minute.
Scares has it taken away by Taryn Hamilton. Every possession important. Hamilton throws it away to Chad, but Chad gives it back.
We have to be content when we have the basketball.
got to just take better care of it than that.
Absolutely. Take good care of the ball and run steady offense right here. Don't need bad shots.
Chad thankfully threw it into the Scott County bench. And Taryn Hamilton, but again, off of Leak, and that's going to be a backcourt violation. It was off of Leak's foot.
Coach, no, he can't argue that. No, he didn't hit it.
That was 100% Scott County turnover there. He's going to try to work the officials, but it was in plain view. 52-46, Scott County leads. Douglas with the ball, 7:35 remaining in regulation. Coffee sitting on the bench now. Still looking the worse for wear. Dan's kind of laughing too.
Coffee's a tough kid. Tough kid, and he will be back in the game. You can count on that.
Momentarily.
I don't think Taryn needs to. I don't like him fronting Jackson right there. I don't like that because make Jackson shoot over top.
Green, strong take, gets it to roll in. 4-point game, 7-11.
Aaron Leak cannot have Green take him to the bucket and score like that. There's no way.
Guarded by McMullen. Grigsby picks it up, fires inside to Taryn, posts up on Green, no, but he's there for the strong rebound, gets it blocked. Breadwood there for the second chance. Make it the third chance. He has 5 this half.
Leak has to stay down right here.
Bird to McMullen, 6-point lead for the Cardinals. Broncos trying to strike back.
Good
Bird
D. Good
dribbles
D.
behind his back, finds Scarce in the corner, guarded by Jeremy Hamilton, playing with 4 fouls, I believe. Is that a walk? Nope. Offensive foul.
Coach Glenn's going nuts about the walking call.
Worked it.
Makeup. It's going to happen every time.
Cosmetic foul right there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Because Bird did walk when he touched the ball.
He did. It was not a walk you call every time, but when there was a 50-50 call made before, sometimes you get that call.
There he is. There's Taryn.
Taryn backdoor. Foul.
Oh, baby.
6:14 to go. He's going to line for 2.
And they're running offense, Cal. They're getting that out of offensive sets, and that's exactly what they need right there.
Staying within themselves, and as Coach Glenn has said to me many times, doing what they're good at. Everybody individually doing what they're good at is what's going to make this team better down the stretch. And Hamilton is posting up, shooting threes when he's open and getting to the line. Makes both. 56-48, largest lead of the fourth quarter for Scott County.
Right here is a big defensive stand. When you get this type of lead and you're close to double digits, it's right here is where you got to break down and not give up an easy one. Make it hard. There you go.
Steal by Grigsby. He's got 5 on the night at least.
Easy chase.
Scott County trying to make the third time the charm. They're up 8, under 6 minutes now.
Just can't get stagnant on this end here. Taryn's got to work right here for the ball.
Grigsby, bad pass taken by McMullen. McMullen will drive to the other end. Dish blocked by Grigsby.
Block.
Oh, yep, he did. He tied it
our
up.
Ball. That's Scott County
going
ball.
to Scott County. What a play by Chase Grigsby. Effectively his 6th steal of the night. He has been out of his mind defensively.
And the thing about it is, Cal, he's not. A lot of people like to drop their head after a bad pass and be the last one down court. He's the first one down court, and guess what? Gets a turnover out of it.
You know, anytime you do something bad, come back and do something good. Inside to Jeremy Hamilton. No. Rebound tipped around to Jalen Green. Quick drive by Green. No.
Wow.
Over a little contact on the rebound. Leak.
It's got to be.
Leak had position, and it will go to Scott County. Is this a 1-on-1 already? Yes, it is.
Yep.
Aaron Leak's going to the line. 5:27 to go.
Cal, very impressed with how Jalen Green gets to the bucket. You see that Euro step right there? Euro step with left hand and just left it short. But, man,
just couldn't finish.
Just beautiful.
Man,
just a big-time move.
He is a college player.
He really
I don't know what level, but
he really is.
He's going to play somewhere next year, I can guarantee. 5:27 Leak with a chance to put it to double digits. Rains down the first, 57-48. He'll get the bonus.
Now, if I'm Coach Glenn here in about another minute, I got a close to a 10-point lead. I'm gonna get a timeout. I'm gonna use my timeouts wisely to say, hey, here's where we are. And what that does also is slows Douglas down because Douglas is going to have to speed up and start taking threes here in a few minutes.
58-48 on 2 Leak free throws.
Backside help right there. Good job.
Inside to Jackson, who has played sparingly tonight, I think it's fair to say. Green on the floater on the drive.
And what's happening there is he's just taking Aaron Leak off the dribble. I mean, Aaron's got to break down and say, hey, he's not going to take me. He's going to shoot over top, but he's not going to take me to the bucket, and he's doing it.
Under 5 minutes, Scott County leads 58-50. Cross-court pass, dangerous. Breadwood was there, thank goodness. He picks up his dribble. He looks around, finds Leak barely on this side of the timeline.
Let's run offense. They got to run offense, Cal.
They're going to call a foul on Aaron Leak for that.
That's unbelievable.
That's,
wow.
I'm going to do what Mama said and can't say anything nice, so I'm not going to say anything else at all.
I don't understand why they feel like they have to blow the whistle every possession.
58-50, 4:32 remaining in regulation. Douglas facing an 8-point deficit for the first time this year to the Scott County Cardinals. Thought about the three-pointer there. Now he drives to find one for Green. No, back rim.
Got to have a rebound.
Jeremy Hamilton's going to get the foul, and I think he's done.
I know McCaleb Coffey had 4. I don't think Jeremy.
Somebody in 23 had 4. Okay, so it's 23 for Douglas, who has 4. I apologize, Chad.
That's 4 on Jeremy right there.
So we have both 23s with 4 fouls.
What a positive for Jeremy Hamilton to come on this late in the season. You know what? Coach Glenn told me, he said, once he gets the football out of him and he gets his basketball legs under him, said, hey, he might not be able to score in a gym by himself, and Jeremy knows that, but he can do the little things.
Steal by Leak as Green tried to save it unsuccessfully. Leak with a floater. Yes, he did. And if they call that one on him, I'm going to put my headset down.
And guess who was in the middle of the steal down there? There's Josh Breadwood.
It's been a defensive lineup tonight, obviously, with Breadwood, Hamilton. We haven't seen much of Silas Amongo either. It's been mostly. I wonder if he's under the weather too. And Coffey now again walking it off. Leak makes the first.
Coffey may be getting ready to stop singing soprano.
Yeah, you can tell he's just on the borderline of nauseous.
Makes me nauseous just seeing it. The way he ran into the scores table.
60-50 as Leak is 4 for 4 from the line this quarter, and that's what Scott County needs to do to put this away.
That's a walk again. He
didn't call it on Bird. Now Jackson dishes off in traffic.
There's Josh Breadwood.
Josh Breadwood and Chase Grigsby. Who else in the center of it?
You can't. You don't have possession of that.
Did they give Douglas a timeout?
Yes.
There wasn't a Douglas player? My word.
And at least if it's a fight for a loose ball, you have to have possession in order to be able to call a timeout.
He didn't have 2 fingers on the ball,
no,
let alone 2 hands.
Grigsby and Breadwood had the ball.
60-50, Scott County leads through it all. .401 remaining in regulation. We're going to present the DMK CPA Player of the Game. After this one's over, no shortage of candidates tonight. Aaron Leak has been money from the free throw line. Chase Grigsby has been outstanding defensively.
Aaron's hit some big drives, some big transition buckets, but I still think it comes down to Taryn with a double-double in the first half.
That's true.
I mean, it really is. He's still carrying these guys, and he has to realize that right now, I know he's tired. He's standing straight up on both ends. He has to really exert himself and say, hey, guys, this last 4 minutes, get on my back. Here we go. Oh, there's a good block by Taryn right there.
Block, as if on cue. Now Leak.
Nice pass.
To Jeremy Hamilton to finish. Scott County feeling it.
Aaron Leak with a dime right there. Beautiful pass.
Leak off the block that started it by Taryn Hamilton. Now the drive by Douglas. No, they're going to call a block.
But you know what? Give it to Breadwood again. He's in there doing the dirty work. He's in there. You know, he's always got his hard hat and his lunch pail. He really does. He's doing the dirty work, drawing charges, which he did slide up under the guy right there. That was a good call. I will agree with that one.
Clock stops for Douglas. That's their best friend right now. They make the free throw go in with 3:41 left. This is Isaiah Kenny. We haven't called his name much. It's been a different cast tonight for the Broncos as they've gone even deeper to the bench.
Now you got to help on the pressure here. There's going to be a lot of pressure. They got to handle it. Get out of there. Chase, if they're going to guard man-to-man, bring everybody up court.
Kenny made both, 62-52 and a
There it
throwaway.
is. There we go.
Just threw it over Grigsby's head.
But you see where Chase is standing from the bench, you have to go back and almost be behind the guy with the ball. You have to split those guys.
Deshaun Jackson to Jalen Green.
Man, he's herky-jerky. Good gracious.
Green takes it to the hole once again. He's got 6 this quarter. He's got 24 on the night. He has carried Douglas. Grigsby to Bridwood to Jeremy Hamilton. Loses it for a moment, regains it, and will go to the line.
He's just strong.
That hasn't been the best news tonight. But
you know what? And the thing about it is the way the basketball gods work, Cal. The ball is a magnet to the guy's hands that struggle from the free throw line. You know that.
That's just the law of the jungle.
It really is. They always end up with it.
Murphy's Law, man law,
Attaboy.
whatever you wanna call it. He drills the first one, though. He has 6 points on the night.
Just ice in his veins right now. You know
what?
what?
Career night for the sophomore.
Jeremy said, I'm an all-state defensive back, and I'm going to be good on basketball.
He is going to be a 2-sport star at this school, a la Cooper Robb, I think, before all said and done. Gets the block there.
Block.
And Bridwood on the rebound. So many unsung heroes tonight. Grigsby comes away with it. Now finds Taryn Hamilton. You don't have to take a shot here. Bridwood into Jeremy, gets it stripped away. Tie up on the floor.
We should call timeout.
I was going to say, how about give Scott
There we
County
go.
a
We did.
timeout?
We did. We got him back.
They only have 2 left, but Jeremy Hamilton gets the ball and gets the timeout. 2:43 to play. 63-54. Scott County in front.
This 2:43 right here, Cal. All about free throws, all about long rebounds on the other end because Douglas is going to have to start jacking the 3, and then they have to handle the pressure. Right now, Coach Glenn has to be telling them, guys, it's all-out help. We can't have one man against 4 guys going down there. There's no way.
I'm thinking of the football series between these 2 teams, these 2 schools this year, and twice Douglas won, and after both games, the PA guy played the payback by James Brown. Well, tonight, turnabout might be fair play, as in a big spot, the Scott County Cardinals trying to take over second place in the 42nd district. They lead by 9 with 2:43 remaining. They've got Bryan Station tomorrow night, so not much time to get the legs back, and they've got some hurting units right now, some ailing players that are either sick or injured or fighting things off, and in turn, you got to tip your hat to Jeremy Hamilton, to Josh Bredwood, especially Micah Glenn, who's been in there in spurts. They have stepped up and made this possible tonight.
This is right here is a complete season turnaround with if they hold out right here,
it's a
because of the
saver.
fact you look up and you got a kind of just a sporadic lineup that you have in there. You got Elias Richardson, who is averaging close to 20 points in his last outings.
This has been all blood and guts tonight.
It really has.
This is the kind of win that tells you something about your basketball team.
But you still got to keep going to the bucket right here.
Like Taryn Hamilton, but he throws a bad pass. Fortunately, they bailed him out.
Yeah, they did.
Jackson and Green couldn't get their hands on it.
There's no stall right now. You have to keep running offense. You say, hey, we're not taking threes. We're either going to draw a foul or we're going to put the ball in the bucket.
Now, the Lafayette game that they gave away, this is what they did. They just couldn't put the nail in the coffin.
Golly.
And another turnover. Good Lord.
Got to be able to get the ball in bounds.
2:34 remaining, and the clock just feels like it's not moving.
It's not exactly right.
Because it isn't.
Step up high, Taryn. Step up high right here because they're going to try to get to the bucket and drop a 3.
Deshaun Jackson's had a quiet night. 5 points this half, 15 overall. Make it 17. If that's a quiet night, I'll take it.
Taryn doesn't need to help. Stay out.
Jackson, jump stop, and a foul. It's going to be a 1-on-1.
But again, he's at the line with the clock stopped, and as good a free throw shooter as he is.
2:15 remaining. It's a 3-possession game. Broncos trying to cut it to 7 here. You got to be careful if he does miss the second. You got to get your hands on that defensive rebound. Don't let it get knocked around. Or if he misses the first. I knew he wasn't going to miss the first because he's just Deshaun Jackson. He doesn't do that sort of thing. Scary part is he's only a junior, 20.6 points per game for number 1, who is number 1 in the scoring column on the season for the Broncos. He'll make both. There'll be a defense for offense substitution as they'll send Scarce and Bird into the game. And Reed and Jackson will sit down and have a word with Kurt Young, or stand up.
There's another turnover.
Unbelievable. Come on, guys.
We got to get I would take another timeout.
They've only got one. That's the problem. And
Yep.
you've kind of got to save it for if you get caught in a bind here at the end.
But you can't have one guy against two. I've never understood that. Now, when you have all-state guards that Coach Hicks has always had in the past, the guys that can beat that, that's the whole difference. We got to have somebody catch it and go two men on two guys.
Again,
everything's hard.
Reiterate the point. This is a defensive lineup, but there it pays off.
Got to
as
score.
Grigsby with a steal. I've got him with 7 on the night, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2 as it's a double bonus. And again,
I tell you what, when you're successful against the Douglas, they have to give you some help. They're giving us a lot of help tonight as well. But it's because of the defensive pressure that we're applying.
Did the clock even start?
No, it was 2:15.
He got down here in 2 seconds.
Right,
That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and the home team's clock should never be an issue.
Grigsby missed the first of all things. And the second rattles around and is tipped and recovered by Green. It's harder than it needs to be right now. Green to the rack, no. Tipped around.
Offensive rebound.
Saved.
There you go.
Aiden Reed for 3 after the rebound by Kenny. Makes it a 4-point game with 2 minutes to play.
And one.
Oh, my
he caught a charge.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep. We just completely stopped scoring, Cal, and that's what's killing us on the offensive end. We're rushing up as much as they're rushing up for whatever reason. We're playing like we're behind.
Playing like our hair's on fire.
Oh, yeah,
right now.
for whatever reason. It's a bad switch off. There's a bad switch off with Jackson.
Jackson way off, but it almost got tipped back by Jeremy Hamilton. Now Taryn Hamilton comes down with it.
But if you notice, Jeremy Hamilton up around the rim.
To Breadwood. Takes it to the hole. Yes. Josh Breadwood has had some big buckets tonight. 9 points for the senior.
Taryn's got to step up right here. Goes Jackson. He can't shoot over
Deshaun
Taryn.
Jackson, no. Off the rim, no good. Jeremy Hamilton rebound. Taryn long past the leak. Dagger.
There we go, baby.
8-point lead with $1:15 to play and running. McMullen, don't need to foul him, but you did.
I don't know that he did. That guy's just blowing the whistle. And why didn't Taryn blocking the shot right there, Cal? I mean, the smallest guy on the court went right into his chest. Block the shot.
A lot of unexplainables tonight.
There really is. Taryn needs to put that up here with us. He really does. I'll be happy to throw it right back down.
Yeah, gladly.
Golly.
Free throw is good by Cameron McMullen. His first point it's his 3rd point of the night. I was looking at Henderson on my score sheet. They've had a host of players in this game as they, I think both teams knew they were up against it in terms of bodies tonight, and they were going to have to get some minutes out of their bench. McMullen makes both, 67-61. Scott County leads 106-105. Coffee back in the game, finds Taryn, who finds Leak. 3-on-2. Leak with 8 points this quarter. He's got 28 on the night, career high.
Big rebound here. Big rebound here off a long three. There's the long three. And who fouled? Or they called a
timeout of Kurt Young.
Kurt Young took him out of an offensive possession. Ooh.
And they were just going to let him score. So it's an 8-point game, 3 possessions, 51.1 seconds.
Phone conversation with Coach Glenn last night. He says, Derek, we're going to get them tomorrow night. He said, I feel it. He said, we are going to get them.
I mean, eventually, I don't think the gap between these two teams is as much as it's not the first 2 games.
No way.
I mean, I think there's no question, all credit to Douglas for what they've done the first 2 games. I don't think as a basketball team, Scott County is inferior to them.
No, they're not. There's just things you have to look at as a coach, and you have to meet as coach and go, hey, what are we going to do to keep Jackson? What are we going to do? Okay, you're going to make this adjustment. Let's put length on him. And lo and behold, you see what Coach Glenn did tonight. He didn't start out that way, and you saw Jackson, come out and get 7 in a row or whatever it was. I mean, we were just in awe of the way he's shooting the basketball. they make the adjustment. I'll guarantee Taryn Hamilton said, Coach, let me guard him. Let me guard him.
I just see a Scott County team I haven't seen all year. Michaela Coffey sacrificing life and limb to go into the crowd to get a ball. Jeremy Hamilton, Josh Breadwood, just clutch money plays at both ends of the floor.
I know probably right now we got to maybe give the player of the game to probably Aaron Leak, but you know what that would do for Josh Breadwood if he were to get player of the game just one time, because everything that this kid did, and I'm not saying he is, I'm just saying you and I talking here.
Certainly it's an unsung hero. If we had a second award to give,
yes,
it would be him or Jeremy Hamilton, one of those guys for the role they played tonight. It was a complete team effort, and still it ain't over. 48 seconds, Jackson drives, misses. They put it back, couldn't get that to go either. Taryn Hamilton gets the rebound and gets tackled.
Jackson's taken 4 shots in a row falling down because of Taryn Hamilton's length. He cannot get the ball over top of him.
His presence in the middle has made a difference tonight, and the physical toughness of everybody else.
This is what Taryn needs to see after this game. Coach Glenn goes in, puts the film on and go, watch how you are and how we play when you're assertive on the defensive end and you try to block shots. You got your arms straight up in the air. It didn't happen against Bourbon County the other night. Those guys were shooting layups with him standing there.
I think this is a win that serves notice to the rest of the 11th region too, because this is a different Scott County team tonight. It's one that is going to be physical with you for 32 minutes. Jackson, after the miss by Hamilton on the second free throw, misses the 3. Coffey with the rebound. And Breadwood will go to the line with a chance to finish with double digits for the first time in his career as a varsity player.
You gotta love Josh Breadwood, and as he walks with a quick, nice, confident walk to the line.
He wants to go to the line.
Absolutely.
He wants to put this away. He may not get player of the game, but he's probably going to get interviewed. He makes that one fall and rattle in.
Attaboy.
10-point lead. It's all over but the crying. And the high fives. Misses the second, but it's a 10-point margin. Deshaun Jackson still can't get one to fall. He'll go to the line with 28 seconds remaining.
See, I got that coming late in the season. They have to realize the clock is our enemy right now. It's not the other team, it's the clock. You know, if you're fouling them, right, you're fouling a wild shot. If a wild shot goes in, so be it. Get the ball in bounds and do your thing on the offensive end. But right now you got Jackson at the line with the clock stopped, looking like he's going to, a good free throw shooter that he is, he's going to hit 2 free throws.
Now he's going to pull, who was it, De'Aaron Fox the other night? And slammed it off the rim and put it back.
Right.
Nope, he makes the second one fall. So they'll get back on defense. 8-point
He doesn't know
game.
how to miss.
No, I think you're right. Not against Scott County.
No way.
They'll stop the clock with 26.9, and it will be Taryn Hamilton. The right guy is going to the line now, although he did miss one a minute ago.
Just anxious to see how these guys are. Again, they come out of here. They came here Saturday, won the Toyota Classic Championship, and you said they came out on Tuesday night and got beat by Madison Central, which that's not a bad loss. But I guarantee they didn't. They were flat and did not, shoot the ball nearly as good as they shot against Scott County.
No.
There's no way. Again, Scott County, I still say, use the old John Calipari cliche that he says, we're everybody's Super Bowl. So many teams want to get back at Scott County now that in their minds they think, okay, they're depleted because of the second high school. So they're very anxious to play Scott County.
Misses the first free throw to Taryn Hamilton. I think you and I have talked about peaking early, and Douglas certainly played well early this season, and they played well in 2 games against Scott County as Hamilton makes the second. But there is that danger when you haven't been there of maybe not being February ready and March ready. We'll see how Douglas recovers from this week. McMullen with the drive along the baseline, stops the clock with 14.3 seconds as Kurt Young gets a timeout, 72-65.
Did you see the shot block situation right there where Taryn standing there and the smallest man comes in again? I'm just saying you don't have to knock the ball out of bounds. Challenge a guy who's coming in who is 5'7", just make him put it up over top of you. But when Taryn looks at him with hands down, it just makes it a lot easier for them.
So game 3 of this potential best-of-5 series this year goes to the Scott County Cardinals in 14.3 more seconds. As it would take more than a miracle at this point with 3 possessions. Big one tomorrow night, though. Can't stress that enough. This will put Scott County at 2-2 If you look at the KHSAA website right now, it says 1-3 in the district, but one of those was the Toyota Classic game. Does not count in the standings per se. Doesn't even count as a tiebreaker. It's just another game. So if it comes down to a tie for second place and these two teams have split, there may be a coin flip or some other stuff going on.
But hit the ball in bounds. They're very important inbounds. There you go.
McCaleb Coffey saying, why'd you give the ball back to me? Now I got to go to the line. 12.4. The clock hardly moved, if at all.
Yeah, and I think Coach Glenn is seeing that as well. Taryn, just hold on to it. At that point, you may want to hunker down, as he does sometimes when they don't want him to. Just hold on to the ball. We want you at the line, son.
I would say Scott County's other signature win of the season was over Jeffersonville, Indiana, before tonight. This certainly against a district rival as Coffey misses the first. And this does not bode well. They got to find some guys other than Taryn Hamilton, who himself has missed a couple here at the line. And they've done this. They've struggled against Lafayette at the end with free throws.
Nice.
Coffey does make the second. I think Leak has probably been the clutchest free throw shooter at the end of games. But they're not fouling him. 73-65, under 10 seconds. Three-pointer is off. Rebound Douglas, another attempt for Reed, steps inside the arc, makes it good, but 6-point game.
Is he
with
really
a
going to call a
second and
timeout?
change.
Did
Yeah.
he call a timeout?
He did. Because they're going to develop. They're going to design a 7-point
Seven-point play, right?
here.
Exactly.
Hey, you're the ones with the bus ride home. As far as I'm concerned, prolong the agony. I guess maybe it was a defense for offense. I don't know. Stolen away by Jackson, but it won't matter. Scott County takes
great win.
a big
great
one.
win. I'm so happy for Coach Glenn.
73-67. I would say, not arguably, the biggest win of Tim Glenn's rookie season as head coach.
It has to be, and I'm so happy for them. And as the football players and the guys come on the floor there, it's just a big turning point. This late in the season to beat a team who has beat you handily over the last couple weeks. I mean, beat you bad. I mean, It wasn't even – those two games weren't even close, and they come out here and win.
A signature win, a blood and guts win for sure. We'll get some stats. I know Aaron Leak with 28 points. He hasn't won a Player of the Game award yet, so I guess it's easy enough to give him the DMK CPA Player of the Game. But as we said, no shortage of candidates. Taryn Hamilton had a double-double. He dwarfed both numbers. He probably ended up with, well, I'm going to say 20 points or 19 points and close to 20 rebounds.
Absolutely.
As they avenge two prior losses.
Great win right there. I'm so happy for Coach Glenn.
We do want to remind you to please join us again tomorrow night as this same Scott County team will host another big one in the district against the Bryan Station Defenders. That was a 1-point game on December 23rd in Lexington.
And I think that's a key. It's a huge win here tonight. But you got to come out here and you cannot be flat. You can't come out and flat and not take care of the basketball. You got to come out and take care of business tomorrow night and know that this is another tough district game tomorrow night.
They only gave Chase Grigsby 3 steals. That's wrong.
No, that is more than 3 steals.
Aaron Leak, 28 points. Taryn Hamilton, 20 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists. McCaleb Coffey worked for his 5 points, to say the least. 6 points for Jeremy Hamilton.
That's huge.
I had Breadwood with 8. I had him no, that was a scribble mark. It was 8. I thought he had 10. I crossed out a 2. Grigsby 6 points to go with his 6 assists and 3 steals. Total team victories, we said, 22 for Jalen Green, 21 for Deshaun Jackson, 8 for Aiden Reed. 19 turnovers for each team. Not the prettiest game. Douglas held to 44%. That's a lot less than they shot on Saturday, let me tell you.
Yep.
50% for the Cards as they got a lot of layups and a lot of free throws. They went 23 for 34. Not, again, Douglas smooth from the line, 17 of 19. But Scott County worked hard to get to the line and get to the rim and earn the biggest win of the year to go 10-12 on the season. Any final words and thoughts from you before we sign off and get ready for tomorrow night?
Yes, congratulations to Coach Glenn and the kids. They've just worked so hard, and they've had a lot of heartbreakers. And again,
you got to think of all the things that they've had to hear probably about, Billy Hicks and that class last year.
Yeah, or I knew it. I knew Scott County would be like this once there was a second high school, But they are one of the best teams in the state of Kentucky.
They absolutely.
They
team
really are.
Believe me. Don't believe me if you want. This team can get to Rupp.
They surely can.
They showed tonight. They can beat anyone. They can beat Lexington Catholic. They can beat Tates Creek. They can beat Frederick Douglass.
We just hope some of those teams, let's take care of themselves where they get eliminated and we get a good draw. And, you just got to take it game by game, and it starts tomorrow night. And it starts with, again, their leader, their all-state guy, Taryn Hamilton. He played defense tonight like a madman. He made his length absolutely hurt one of the best players in the state in Deshaun Jackson, and I think that was the difference. The defensive adjustment we made, and we were aggressive on both ends. Aaron Leak picked it up for what I look at is he picked it up for where Elias Richardson wasn't here. Mr. Leak steps up and goes, I'm going to knock down 28 tonight.
Just an incredible game, a team game, as much of an effort and performance as the Cardinals have received from the bench, I think, all season.
Jeremy Hamilton and Josh Bredwood tonight. And you know what? I would no way would I ever slight Chase Grigsby for as hard as that kid plays at all time. He's the heart. He's the glue out there. He really does keep them together. He's had the other night he had some bad turnovers and bad situations. Same thing tonight. It happened again tonight. So what? But you know what? What about all the steals that he has? What about the loose balls that he comes up with? The good passes that he throws to Taryn Hamilton and his teammates. So, he's always going to battle, and he's always going to be right there in the trenches.
So Frederick Douglass drops to 2-3 in the district, and that's significant because Scott County improves to 2-2. Tomorrow it's a biggie, as this same Frederick Douglass team lost to this same Bryan Station team. So certainly not a game to be overlooked. Until tomorrow night, for James Scoggin, our producer, director for DT Wells, who's coordinated the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network this year along with Mike Scoggin. For Derek Varney, I'm merely Cal Oaks, saying tonight's final score was your Scott County Cardinals 73, the Frederick Douglass Broncos 67. Good night for payback for the Cardinals, and we'll see you on the other side tomorrow for another big one. Thank you for joining us, everybody.